Austria for round 5 of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. In the next 2 weekends, our rookies will fight it out at the amazing Red Bull Ring here in Spielberg for one of the most spectacular GPs on the calendar. But before we get stuck into this weekend's action, let's take a look back at what happened here last year.
The opening round of the 2020 Rookies Cup season at the Red Bull Ring was an incredible 17 laps, and for many of them, the leading 15 all looked possible winners. Pedro Acosta got in front several times, but could never get away. It came down to the final lap, and the 16-year-old Spaniard knew what he had to do. He managed that last round perfectly, and a 10-man battle became just 3. He held the tiniest advantage over David Munoz and Dani Holgado. At the last corner, Acosta wrestled his KTM off the green and stayed in front of Munoz to win.
The Red Bull Ring is a firm favourite on the MotoGP calendar. So who better to talk about it than our very own rider coach, Gusto Unger, who grew up just around the corner.
If you look on a piece of paper and you see the track layout on a piece of paper, it looks very simple. It goes most of the time right-hander, then 2 times to the left or 3 times to the left, and that's it. But this layout in this area makes it a little bit special, because it's very, very difficult to find the right point for braking. And then you have from one point to another high corner speed, especially the 2 left-handers, and you have to change immediately from the stop and go to the high-speed corner, and it's very, very difficult to find the right setting. So it means on the piece of paper it's simple, but to do it in reality it's very, very difficult. It's very special.
With the race only a few moments away, let's see how the riders will line up for race 9 after qualifying.
An intense Spielberg qualifying session saw David Munoz fractionally fastest over Cup points leader David Alonso. Alonso sits on pole because Munoz has a penalty and starts at the back. Boosted by his German win, Matteo Bertelli is in P2 and Marcus Uriarte completes the front row.
I don't know about you guys, but I cannot wait for this race to start. So it's time to hand you over to our commentators.
Hello and welcome to the Red Bull Ring in Austria. We're in Spielberg and it's round 5 of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup in 2021. We've had a summer break, though some of these riders have been competing fiercely in their relative other championships, so they've not had quite the break that maybe the Grand Prix riders would have had. But we are ready for crunch time here in this latter part of the 2021 season. My name's Matt Dunn, alongside me today is Elliot York, and whilst we look at these glorious images of the surrounding area near the circuit, there is that slight air of perhaps tenseness, apprehension looking at the clouds. What will they do in this race here? We hope it stays dry. Will it add an extra element of excitement and drama here in the Rookies Cup? That right there is David Alonso, not only your series leader with 125 points, but also the rider on pole position here today. Your most recent race winner, Matteo Bertelli, starts from 2nd, and Marcus Uriarte will be starting from 3rd. So Elliot, I'll pass the question on to you. One, how's it going, mate? Good to see you again. And also, how much are you looking forward to this race today?
Yeah, good to see you, mate. Lovely to be back at the circuit and to see racing once again after a nice break, but happy to be back into the flow of things. Like you say, a lot of these riders didn't have a summer break. They were competing in the FIM CV Repsol Championship over in Portimao and Motorland Aragon. But yeah, we should be in for a cracking race. Let's just keep our fingers crossed that the rain does stay away. We can't quite see from our commentary position the clouds. It was quite dark when we walked over here, and as you can see on your screens there, it does look a little bit dark over there too. So yeah, like I say, fingers crossed the rain stays away. Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with you there. That is Matteo Bertelli, the most recent race winner that we had in Rookies Cup, taking the win in very dramatic fashion in Germany just over a month ago now, actually. 2.3 seconds the gap on the result sheet, but that far from tells you the full story. It was the likes of David Alonso, David Munoz, Dani Holgado, I think it was Diogo Moreira as well, or Ivan Ortela, Marcus Uriarte, several riders taken out of the race. Wasn't it Moreira? My apologies. But a big pile-up down at turn 1 due to a mistake from David Munoz, which actually leaves him starting from the back of the grid. And not only that, he's also got a long lap penalty here today. Who else has got a penalty though, Elliot? Scott Ogden, unfortunately, the British rider, he starts from the middle of the second row in 5th place due to causing a crash in qualifying. We're not sure who went down. We didn't quite get that information across. But yes, Scott Ogden, unfortunately, does have a ride-through penalty to take. Interestingly, on David Munoz, it's only for race 1 that his penalty is implemented for. So tomorrow he will start from pole, but obviously today, starting from the back of the grid and that long lap penalty, it looks like a tough task.
Absolutely. We just saw on our screens there Somkhat Chantra, the Thai Moto2 rider in Honda Team Asia, giving a thumbs up and a bit of encouragement to his countryman Tachakorn Boisri there, who had a great run out last time. Because of that crash, he did manage to get his first Red Bull Rookies podium, finishing in 3rd. Before anyone says, oh, wow, you only go because a rider's crashed out. Well, you got to be in it to win it. That is the main mantra of racing there. So great stuff from Boisri. Hope he can continue his sort of form. There is Scott Ogden on the naughty step. Not quite, no. It's these sorts of things happen, don't they? That's all part of the learning process, why these riders are in the Rookies. Starting from 5th, a great qualification for him. Did I see he also got a podium recently in the Sev or something like that in one of the most recent rounds? There have been quite a lot of races that vary in the last several months, isn't there? Yeah,
there has been. Yeah, he got a podium in Barcelona, so just before the round at the Sachsenring for these guys. But yeah, he did get a podium. He didn't quite repeat that in Portimao or Mooslang Aragon, but he has scored points in every single race in the FIA CV Repsol Junior World Championship so far this year. But yeah, with that ride-through penalty, unfortunately for Scott, it's not looking like he's going to score points today if he's lucky. Unlucky.
That is a shame for him, absolutely. Just saw Xavier Artigas back there as well, when the Moto3 rider on-looking, former Red Bull rookie himself. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's actually had a win here in the past here at Austria. Plenty of races here recently. The last 4 races that we had with the double header here last year were won by none other than Pedro Acosta. And look how well he's doing now. So if you manage to take that level of, that number of victories here over the next 2 weekends, well, you might be in for some good fortune coming your way over the next couple of years. Commencing countdown, engines on. 30 seconds until we begin at this warm-up lap, and the riders head around to begin the second half of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookie Series. The road to MotoGP continues. Who will be coming out on top of this one? I really cannot call it. I was looking through some of the free practice times earlier on, and it's just as close as you like. There is David Munoz. What can he do all the way from the back of the grid? Second in the championship behind David Alonso on 119 points, 6 points behind the leader. It's a very, very big ask for him to do anything special here today. What do you reckon, Elliot?
I think if he gets points, then he can hold his head firmly high, because starting from the back of the grid, although the slipstream is going to come into full effect, so he's going to get a lot of slipstream from the back of the grid. If he makes a good start, you never know what's possible. But yeah, they've got to take the long lap penalty, which is there. That's Daniel Munoz running through it, and there you can see the number 64 running through it too. So yeah, a tough task for David Munoz, but you never know. This is the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup.
Absolutely. Well, a little bit of admin to get out of the way as well before we get going. Diogo Moreira, who is in 4th position in the title fight. He is not here this weekend after having a positive COVID test, which is an absolute disaster for the rookie. He'll be absolutely gutted about that, not to be here being raced, because he had such a strong season so far. There is the confirmation at the bottom of your screens. David Munoz, long lap penalty during the race, because of causing a crash during the German GP. He also starts from the back of the grid. Also, Colin Veijer is not here, the Dutchman, this weekend as well, which is a shame. But also, welcome back to Alex Mian, who missed the last race that we had out in Germany. So what can he produce in terms of the results here this weekend? So this is the main sort of fast and flowing section. We've got Sector 3 here. It's all very well and good being good at stop and go sectors of the track, turning right in that in the first 2 sectors and then the last sector. But this one can really make up a gap. It can make or break your race. So riders starting to slow down, preparing. This is about the time when your heart's starting to really pump and the adrenaline start flowing through your veins.
Yeah, this is going to be a really hectic and crazy race, I feel. Last year we saw Pedro Acosta win all 4 races, but he didn't win them all by clearing off into this distance. It was a really tough battle for the now Moto3 World Championship leader, and this is not going to be an easy task for anyone to win here today.
Absolutely not. Well, let's get it going then, with the clouds pouring in overhead. Hopefully it stays fully dry. What a sight this is to see racing once again. This is the first proper race that we've had at a Grand Prix venue since the summer break. what better place to have it than here in Austria, in amongst, well, the fans still staying on to check out the racing here today. What sort of treats await them as David Alonso rolls up to the pole position, ready to take off. This will be the first and only time that he does that this weekend. David Munoz there, the number 64, will be taken off from tomorrow. He's ready for battle. Are you all ready? The road to MotoGP continues. Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, round 5 is here, ready to go. Race 1, the lights are on. And they're off. Away we go. That was a poor start from Matteo Bertelli, but David Alonso absolutely nails it. We're on the run towards turn 1. Always chaotic, very tight. Who's going to get the fastest line through it and the drive out of it? Are we all safely through? That is the question. Have we gone beyond track limits? Of course we have. It looks like Tachikon Boisri is there in second place, and the number 89, Marcos Uriarte, from third on the grid, leads the way as we head up towards turn 3. All safely through, Elliot.
Yeah, thankfully, and Uriarte got a great start from the front row. Is he going to lead into turn 3? No, he's not. I think it's the number 5 of Tachikon Boisri, who also got a great start, but he was leading from the second row. Thankfully, all riders safely through the tight right-hander, and again, down we go, down the second longest straight on the course, and down into another tight right-hander, which is turn 4.
Just keeping an eye on David Munoz. He looks as though he's made up many places already. What about turn 4? So downhill, bit of negative camber perhaps as well. Switches to a bit more positive camber on the exit. Got to be so careful not to outbrake yourself there. And here's the fast and flowing section. Some prime overtaking opportunities. We're on board with David Alonso, hunting down Tachikon Boisri in first place. A little bit of daylight there between them. Tachikon Boisri, the number 5, looking strong here in P1. Who's that behind them then? Uriarte, and then I think that's Scott Ogden in 4th, Matteo Bertelli in 5th, with Ivan Ortela behind them. And how about that? The number 72, Taio Furusato, the rookie sensation here, winning his first ever race in the rookies this year, behind there in 7th position.
Thought David Alonso was going to make a cheeky move up the inside on lap 1 to take the lead. That, of course, is your pole sitter, but we're around the final corner then, and it's Tachikon Boisri who leads the way out the final corner with David Alonso tucked up in the slipstream. Who's that going?
Well, that was Noah Detweiler going off to into the scenery pretty much there. We're going to have a change of the lead as we come across the line. David Alonso switches towards the inside, but so does Uriarte. They're not able to outbreak Boisri, though. How about that for a tongue twister? We're on David Munoz watch. Where does he come across the line? He came across the line in 10th position, but he's moved up to 9th. Holgana just behind him. That's a puzzling one. The number 96, there he is, alongside Munoz. 3rd in the championship. Holgado also still leading the Moto3 Junior World Championship. He's not had the best start to the race.
What was I saying about David Munoz and maybe being lucky to score points today? He's up into 10th already. What a start for the man second in the championship here. Holgado started down in 7th place. Not the greatest of starts for another title contender, but he's in the pack, and that's the main thing at the minute. Look at David Alonso up the Munoz up the inside there in the rear of the pack.
Well, we've got David Alonso out front now as Tachikon Boisri has been swallowed up and dispatched. It's now Alonso from Uriarte, from Bertelli, and Ortela there in 4th place as well. Ortela now moving up to 3rd position there up the inside of Bertelli, the 2 very lanky stars of the rookies, the Spaniard versus the Italian. How about it? There is Munoz, so absolutely no trouble at all. Forget it. I mean, he is going to have to go through the long lap penalty, but if he was able to make up that much ground from the back of the grid within simply a lap and a half, well, what can he do with a long lap penalty as well? I don't think it's going to make much difference to his race.
It'll be interesting to see when he takes it, because if these guys can get their heads down and do another couple of laps at this sort of speed, they've already broken the gap to the second group. So it'll be interesting to see when David Munoz takes it, because he drops into the second group and he's going to have a little bit of a trickier time to make his way through. I don't think he's going to be doing it here, because he's up the inside.
Like it? Next to Danny Munoz. He's going up the inside. There's no chance he's taking that long lap penalty this time around. No. So it'll have to be one of the following couple of laps. That was as close as you like. He must have been rubbing his rear tyre there. So how about it? We head down the straight in inverted commas. This is now turn 2 with flicking left through, and then thinking about the braking zone for turn 3. There is David Munoz. Will he manage to get past Taio Furusato there? No, he's guarding his line superbly, is the Japanese rider. It's still David Alonso out front, who fought Pedro Acosta so fiercely. Oh, it's not, sorry. It's Ivan Ortela who's made his way out front now, but David Alonso still in second place there.
Ortela goes well here. He podiumed once here last year with a second place in the Red Bull Rookies Cup in his rookie season. Now he's got a season under his belt. He's also got half a season in the CEV Junior World Championship under his belt, so he's looking really strong once again. I'm just looking at the gaps, Matt. I think we've got a lead group of 10, maybe 11. Farioli's just dropping off the back of Holgado, and then there's a 1.3 second gap back to Alex Mian, which is interesting for David Munoz, of course.
Yeah, very much so. Well then, what will transpire throughout the rest of the race? We have seen the two main groups actually part and then come back together again over the course of the 15, 16 or so laps. 15 laps to go here, of course, as we see David Alonso move up the inside in towards turn 9. That is not a move for the faint-hearted, running it right out to the edge near the track limits. And who's that going in pit lane then?
Scott Ogden, I
Scott
think,
Ogden. So he's got a ride-through penalty, not a long lap.
Yeah, ride-through penalty, yeah, unfortunately for Scott, yeah.
Oh, what a shame then. So yes, you can see there on the gap. So that's pretty much ruined Scott Ogden's race. There's no chance he's going to be catching back up again. But what about David Munoz? He's not gone through the long lap penalty lane that time around. I think he gets 3 goes at it, doesn't he? He's
Yeah,
had
3
2
flying
then.
laps, I think.
So he has to do it next time around. And how about this though? The number 5, Tachikon Brasserie, still fighting for those first positions on a provisional podium spot. Oh, poor Scott Ogden. He's absolutely gutted, isn't he? Because that is race well and truly over. Mate, you can go full gas now. Come on. Well, can he? Maybe he can't. I thought he could when he gets to that point. I thought the line... Well, never mind. At least he didn't try and tuck in and eke out a little advantage in a speed lane limited area. A pit lane speed limited area, I should say, like the Moto3 World Championship riders were doing over the last couple of races. Anyway, David Alonso still leading the pack here. Who has he got behind him now? It's Tachikon Brasserie there. And who's that? Batelli saying, jump onto the back of me, because David Munoz, we can't let him get away. He is the fastest man on track at the moment. The fastest rider on track, I should probably say. A bit of a stretch to call some of these young chaps men. But here we are. David Munoz, he has one more chance to take that long lap penalty if my understanding of the rule book is correct. Otherwise, he'll be in some serious trouble.
Yeah, I think he's got to take it on the next lap. So look out for turn 1, folks. That's where the number 64, who's just going to go up the inside of Marcus Ariarte.
He doesn't need a second invitation, does he?
Yeah, David Munoz had his Weetabix this morning, so he's in 4th place now from the back of the grid. Now then, is he going to take his long lap penalty? I think he needs to, so just watch out for it. He's tucked up behind Ivan Ortola. He's just going, yeah, he's just signalled there. Well, I think he's just signalled he's going into the long lap penalty. Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, absolutely sensational then. Good stuff from him, taking it wide. But let's see then how long it takes him to actually catch everyone back up. Will there be enough riders to hook on the back of a slipstream and take them? Will he even bridge the gap between the 2 main groups of riders? He's got Noah Detweiler for company there. I didn't see who quite else he was with. It's Lunetta and Mario Aggi. Summer Gorba's behind them in 15th position. So the real fight is on now for David Munoz. He does not want to let these riders and David Alonso get away, because he cannot let that championship gap open up any more than it already is.
David Munoz then down into 13th place, just behind Luca Lunetta. So that's it's going to be a very difficult task. It was a difficult task before. It's now going to be an even more difficult task for David Munoz to try and get himself into the top 10 and into the lead group for the fight. There's the championship standings, the cup standings on the right-hand side. At the minute, Alonso's taken a very healthy advantage into race 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, that's pretty crucial, because we have only, I say only, got 6 races left in the series for 2021, including this one. You cannot really afford to be having an off day anymore if you want to be in it to win it. And that doesn't just go for David Munoz, that also goes for Danny Holgado, who is still in 8th position at the moment. He's off the back of this group. He's with Tayo Furisato there. Thank you, Mr. Director, for perfectly colouring what I was saying there. Danny Holgado just ahead of Furisato. Furisato, I remind you, never seen this track before. Never, ever seen it. And he's still there in 8th position. I mean, that kid is something very, very special indeed. What about Ariarte? Going up the inside of Ortola. Will he take that 3rd place? Yes, he does. Oh, no, he doesn't. Ortola goes around the outside once again. I thought that was going to be a textbook move. This is David Munoz, the number 64. He is behind Alex Mian now, who is in 10th position. Filippo Farioli up ahead, the Italian. Will they drag him back towards that leading group? The gap is currently, as I look, 3.7 seconds off the lead, and they've got about 1.7 seconds to make up to Furisato. Can they do it? That is the question. Holgado clearly got an earpiece in, listening to our commentary, because he's got a wriggle on. Fastest lap of the race to him last time around.
Yeah, I was just about to mention that, Matt, and I think it is doable for David Munoz if he gets his head down. He's probably going to be on his own. He's clearly got the pace to pull away from that second group. And if these guys are going to keep fighting, which you can think they probably will be, he's got every chance of trying to catch the group before the checkered flag. There's still 11.5 laps to go, so there's plenty of time for him to make up that gap. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do it. As we look back to Tachkorn Bouazri, he's having a very, very good race there. In second place is Tachkorn Bouazri.
Yeah, I tell you what, Elliot, we look at other riders. I mean, okay, I know he would have been doing some races in the Spanish Championship, the Moto 3 Junior World Championship and everything like that. As we see from the FIM stewards, Shoni Shimura exceeding track limits too many times, a long lap penalty for him. But as I was saying, Bouazri got that podium in certain circumstances last time out in Germany. How about that? What that does for confidence there, Ray? Because if you look at his other results, his highest finishing position so far this year was an 8th position. He's been racing throughout the summer and then come back here, and just it's all about confidence, because he's just carrying that momentum which he had in Germany. He's proved to himself that he can do it now. He can get on the podium, and here he is, not just fighting for a podium but for the win. Absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, in the Junior World Championship, he's not had the best of seasons. Of a lot of luckless races for Tachkorn Bouazri. He sits 25th only on 5 points. But yeah, as you mentioned, Matt, that maiden podium in the Red Bull Rookies Cup last time out in Germany, it was a fantastic result, and it's a run of 6 races in the points and 4 inside the top 10, and he's keeping Alonso company there in second place. Is he going to go for a move? He's in this slipstream.
Yeah, he's keeping him an honest man, isn't he? As we look, as they break down towards turn 4, you can really quite see a bit more there, just how steep it is. I don't think you can really appreciate it until you see it in person. It's wow, David Alonso goes extremely wide on the exit. That was very bizarre indeed. I'm not quite sure how he actually managed that. So we now have Tachkorn Bouazri back in the lead.
Yeah, I didn't quite see that either, Matt. I was looking at the timing screens, and then all of a sudden David Alonso was wide and nearly on the grass. Thankfully, he kept it upright. I'm just watching Daniel Holgado's progress. He's now up to 4th place after being on the back of this group. So Daniel Holgado's got the bit between his teeth, and he's clawing his way through the pack. He's got Ortola next on his list to pick off. He's up the inside, not quite that time, as David Alonso retakes the lead at turn 9. Fast right-hander keeps it on the tarmac.
Yeah, just about. He doesn't go onto the green that time around, fortunately for him. So pretty calm and collected there, and as is Danny Holgado. He's very good at doing this, isn't he? Just biding his time, not panicking when riders seem to be getting away from him. Then they come back and he just lets the chaos ensue, picks up the pieces, and look at him now, moving up the inside of Ortola into 3rd position, I should say, from 4th. So it's proper leading group. We've got Munoz of the David variety, 9th position, 2.4 seconds off Furisato, who is just off the back of this leading group. He's now caught back on it, looking to move up the inside of Bertelli. I wouldn't count out Furisato out of this win. 3 riders in 1. What a move for the Japanese rider. That was just, it didn't look like he was outbreaking anybody. He was just cruising for a Sunday ride. Okay, he's created a bit of a gap to him and Ortola now, but what a move.
That's just classic turn 3 at the Red Bull Ring, isn't it? You get the slipstream down the long straight, you brake a little bit later than your rivals, and you get up the inside. And yeah, normally not make 3 in one move, but fair play to Furisato as you get a nice little slow motion replay of the rider braking hard over the crest of hill down into turn 9. That's David Alonso, the number 80, and Tachkorn Bouazri, the number 5. You 2 race leaders at the moment.
For newbies watching the rookies, very possible indeed, though I know many of you are very hardened veterans at watching this. You can tell some of the riders apart, not just from the helmet designs of their numbers, but they do have their respective national flags on the front fenders of their machines there. You can see it's Alonso with the Colombian flag on the front of his, followed by Holgado with the Spanish one, Tachkorn Bouazri with the Thai one, obviously, and then Ortola with the Spanish one as well. So top 4 then, it's now Alonso versus Holgado. This could be very crucial indeed, Elliot, because if Holgado manages to overtake Alonso, he's keeping him pretty honest in the championship standings. Look at this now then, so we've got Furisato in 5th. That is a bit of a gap there though, up to Ortola in 4th, but will they manage to catch him on the slipstream this time around?
Yeah, we'll wait and see, Matt. It is very important for Holgado to try and beat David Alonso at this stage of the weekend. It's very important in terms of the Cup standings. We know Alonso is the Cup standings leader, and if he wins this, obviously another 25 points in the bag. And Holgado is on a run of 3 races without a podium. He was luckless in that crash at turn 1. caused by David Munoz last time out at the Sachsenring. He's had 2 4th places before that, so he'll be eager to at least get on the podium, but you can definitely tell he wants to win this one.
This is really interesting though, Elliot. What a graphic down the bottom there. David Alonso, last lap, a 1:40.1. David Munoz in 9th, a 1:40.4. So that is not going to be good enough. Sorry, a 1:40.5. That is not going to be good enough for him to actually catch these guys and chase them down and have hopes of a victory. He will be coming through shot just there in the back of that, coming out of turn 4. So at the moment, not really good enough, which is a shame because he managed to catch up to these guys from the back of the grid, seemingly with ease. But there we go. That's just not how the cookie crumbles sometimes. Let's see how it progresses. Still 9 laps to go. That is roughly, what, 15 odd minutes of racing still with the Red Bull rookie. So plenty of time for something else to happen. He, of all people, should know that after last time out.
I was going to say, this is the Red Bull Rookies Cup and anything can happen. It's drama central a lot of the time. So yeah, David Munoz can always bridge that gap, and even if he doesn't, a top 10 from back of the grid and a long lap penalty is still a fantastic result.
Yeah, it really is. I completely agree with you there. Keeping an eye on these guys in the second group there, then will they be able to catch them? Time for Rosato just loses a couple of extra hundredths of a second there. I think I saw him go out of track limits too between turns 9 and 10, so he's got to be careful with that one. But will they, how efficiently will they use the slipstream this time around? Then we're going through turn 2, breaking up to turn 3. Any audacious moves incoming? Daniel Munoz, Matteo Bertelli and Furusato fan out. Furusato goes pretty wide there, has to concede a place and gets nerfed way off the track, didn't he? As Uriarte, he's gone completely missing, hasn't he? To the back of this group. I wonder what happened to him at some stage.
Yeah, that was strange. I didn't see quite what happened there, but it's very easily done. We've seen it across all classes this weekend, and the years we've been here, it's very, very easy to make a mistake into turn 3. If you brake just that little bit late, it's easy to get out of shape, and the corner just sucks you in. You're doing pretty much top speed into the braking area, and then you're braking down into a very, very low speed, probably the lowest speed on the circuit. So yeah, a difficult corner to get right and a very easy corner to get wrong.
Absolutely true, yeah. Completely agree with that. FIM Stewards. Oh, how about this, Elliot? Exceeding track limits for your race leader. Long lap penalty for David Alonso. Well, no one is safe. No one is exempt from this sort of punishment there. He will be getting the signal from the pit board around this lap, I should imagine, and he's running it very close to the edge of the curbs there as well. How will that change things? Not just in this race, but for the championship as well. We'll keep an eye. Will we see the pit board to the left of your screen? Perhaps we will. No, yes we do. He had it, so he's been told he will also have it on his dash as far as I'm aware as well. So next time around he will likely take that long lap penalty. Did he just exceed track limits again then?
It was
Need
close.
to be careful, very close indeed. Fastest lap of the race last time around. Matteo Bertelli, your most recent race winner, bridging that gap from 5th up to 4th. He is dragging these guys closer to them. That's not true. It's not Ortula with 1.2 seconds back to Bertelli. The graphic is wrong. Ignore it. He is there. He's with him. He's in 5th, and he's going to battle for the win once again.
Bertelli can smell another race win. He, of course, won, profited from the carnage that unfolded at the Sachsenring to win that second race. But what were we saying about drama, Matt?
Yeah.
We never know when it's coming, and there it is. David Alonso, the championship leader and the race leader, has a long lap penalty. I'm just looking at the gap from Alonso to David Munoz. It's 5.1 seconds as things stood over the line. So he's going to come out, crucially, ahead of David Munoz if he nails the long lap penalty.
And we've got a track limits warning for what would be your next race leader, Danny Holgado as well. Same goes for Tayo Furusato. My eagle eyes did not deceive me. I did see Furusato going a little bit wide on the track limits a few laps ago. He's at the back of this group now, so no more ifs and buts for either of those guys. That could well leave someone like Tachiko and Boisri in the lead should Danny Holgado make another infraction. Keep a close eye on whether those tyres touch the green coming out of these final 2 corners. These are key zones for that. They are running it very, very wide, Elliot. Now, the question begs, will David Alonso take the long lap penalty this time around? 6 laps to go. He's braking from first. Has he seen it? He has not. He has opted not to go for it this time around, so he'll get 2 more opportunities to take that long lap penalty, else they will dock him several seconds. Whatever penalty they decide is worthy if he manages to carry on.
We saw this in Jerez, didn't we, Matt?
Oh, long lap penalty for Furusato as well. Just come up on our timing screens at the back of this group. So, goodness me, absolute drama all over.
Yeah, we saw this, I was just about to say, we saw this in Jerez, Matt, didn't we? A load of the front runners got long lap penalties towards the end of the race. Now they're going to be able to take them before. If they don't, like you say, they're going to get penalties, and in Jerez it was a little bit later on in the race, so they didn't. But Alonso's going to have to take it either the next lap, or the one after that, or he's going to serve a penalty. You'd assume by now he would have seen that he's got a long lap penalty, but obviously we don't know for sure.
It's a really difficult one, this, isn't it? Because, you know, with these small capacity machines, it's not as if you crank open the throttle, that bike is just going to drag you wide and onto the green. You know, but I know they've got to take such long, sweeping lines to maintain that corner speed. You've got to be so careful. However, guys, stay on the track. It really is so worth it, because otherwise you're going to get these penalties. You're not going to win. It's so simple. But however, we still see it in World Championship racing all the time, don't we? Pole position in MotoGP was decided by that today. So there we have it. Turn 9 and then turn 10. David Alonso still in the lead. Danny Holgado cannot afford to go off track any more times, or he'll have a penalty himself. And Alonso just running it so close. Will he take it this time around? 2 more opportunities. 5 laps to go, and Danny Holgado, he doesn't need it to take a long lap penalty. He still just wants to take that lead naturally anyways.
There he goes.
There he goes. Both of them, Furisato and Alonso, are taking it. Is that their chance of race win gone? I think it could be, Elliot, which is massive. Oh, and Furisato, he's not taking it properly either, so he might have another one.
He will have another one if he's not taking it properly. If he's gone over the white lines, then you're going to have another long lap penalty. It's brutal, but they are the rules. So yeah, if Furisato did cross over the white lines, unfortunately for the young Japanese rider, he's going to have to take another long lap penalty. I'm just seeing how far back David Munoz is from David Alonso. Our timing screens haven't caught up yet. It's still saying Alonso's the race leader.
David Munoz is only not even 4 seconds off. No, he's not, is he? So let's see when he comes through the next split, sector 2. Yeah, they've really not caught up whatsoever, have they, the timing screens? Let's just not pay attention to them whatsoever. But as it stands right now, we have Danny Holgado in the lead. That brings the Cup standings to 7 points, separating first and third in the series. Goodness me, it does not get much closer than that in this second half. That blows it wide open entirely. There we have it. Furisato failed to comply with long lap penalty. He is going to have another one. Welcome to the rookies, young man. He's done so well in the Asia Talent Cup in the 4 races we had in Qatar. That's why he got a position here. We now have another ATC veteran leading the race now. It's Tachikon Boisri, but did I see him go extremely wide? David Alonso goes really wide at that final turn. He exceeds track limits again, but that will be due to a mistake. Oh my goodness, he nearly decked it. Can you believe it?
He's clearly pushing his David Alonso because he knows David Munoz, the champion, his closest championship rival, is right behind him. And if I weren't mistaken,
Daniel Munoz exceeded track limits as well.
I was just about to say, Tachikon Boisri looked like he ran wide on the exit of turn 9 when trying to make a move for the lead. We didn't quite see it, so I don't know for sure, but he was definitely in hot and definitely wide.
Oh, goodness me, and now they're fanning out towards 5 abreast coming into turn 3. Daniel Munoz was leading. It's now Danny Holgado. Who's that going up the inside? It's Ortula, and then Uriarte behind them. He's played it very cool and calm in this entire race. 4 laps to go. The tone of the race has entirely changed, and I don't think it's quite over just yet for the likes of Alonso or David Munoz. They can see, they can smell the exhaust fumes of the riders ahead. This is not over, potentially. 4 laps to go in the Red Bull rookies.
Yeah, this is sensational. We've got to keep our eye on 2 gaps, the leading pack and then this pack, because we're on board with David Munoz, and just ahead of him is the title leader, David Alonso. So David Munoz knows exactly the situation he needs to beat, and that's Furisato going wide to get onto the green. He's already got another long lap penalty, so Furisato's really got to be careful he doesn't get a third.
Well, he's not going to get really a chance to take it, is he, unfortunately? His races and his attempt at contending for this is pretty much over. But he gets 3 more attempts at it. Munoz looks up the inside but decides against it. Will these guys be able to catch them? Furisato will take another long lap penalty. 3 more attempts at trying to get some kind of podium solid result here in Austria. But what a great debut it's been so far. Battling in these guys once again. Swallow me untongue there as we look at the championship contenders coming across the line. 3 laps to go then.
It's all kicking off, and it's kicking off in the commentary box. You okay over there, mate?
I'm all right. I can barely cope with it. Furisato, he's gone for another long lap penalty. Hopefully he does it correctly this time. We're looking back at David Munoz from David Alonso. Brassery's off the back of the top 6 riders. Will they catch them? Here is the question. Up the inside, in towards turn 3. I think they are going to catch him, Elliot.
I agree.
This is it.
They've got them right in the sights.
Look
That's
at
definitely
that.
below a second.
Oh.
They're going to keep battling. You can see them all battling now. And David Alonso looks behind, gets a face full of David Munoz. And yeah, they're not right with them, but they're pretty much there. And if they'd be sensible about it, I know there's only 2 and a bit laps to go, and these are the top 2 in the championship. But if they're sensible, well, they're pretty much with them now.
Yeah, they are. That's it. They've been caught. 3 laps to go, and the race is on. Danny Holgado is off the back of this group. He's 3rd in the championship. If he looks around, or if he gets passed by David Alonso and David Munoz, he might be thinking, what have I got to do? I thought I had you guys nailed to the wall, and I was going to overtake you or get closer in the series, but no, he's going to be still a little bit further back. All he can do now, though, is try and get that victory, but it's a tall order. Even though there are 2.5 laps to go, there's 4 other riders who want to take these sorts of victories. Brassery still in 3rd. Is Daniel Munoz still there in 1st position? Oh my goodness me. Penultimate lap coming your way after 1 more corner.
Yet again, an astonishing race in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. 2 laps to go. This is anyone's. Daniel Munoz got a little bit of a gap back to Tasquan Brassery, but I can hazard a guess that that's going to close unless he's got some superior late race pace. Daniel Munoz incidentally podiumed here last year, so he's got podium pedigree at the Red Bull Ring. Can he convert a podium from last year into a win this year?
Oh, just stunning alliteration, Elliot. That's why we paid the big bucks here. Joking, of course. Here we are. Look at that freight train of the rookies coming through turn 2, are breaking up towards turn 3. They're going to find out how many abreast. 5 it is, with Ortula in the lead, but will he come out of it on top as well? Brassery avoids contact with other people. I think Holgado's being a bit cheeky there. That is very cheeky indeed, because that's just wildly out of track limits. He's probably going to have to give a place back for that. That's just... Yeah, forget that. That's insane. So look at David Munoz. He's trying to come up the inside of Batelli and Brassery there. They all take wildly different lines from each other. It's still Daniel Munoz out front. And what is David Alonso doing? He's just biding his time at the back, just saying, you guys can just go ahead, do what you want. Okay, it looks like Holgado might have just given back a place, I think. But this is David Munoz trying to nerf him out of the way at the inside. He just lets the brakes off. That was awesome from David. From the back of the grid, I remind you.
Back of the grid, long lap penalty, and now he's about to move up into 3rd place. If he's in the slipstream, I thought he was up the inside, but we'll look into turn 9. No, not quite. Ariarte holds it.
Hello, here we go. Daniel Holgado. Danny has got a long lap penalty. It's it, so he's going to have to take it. Well, he won't get a chance. He's just going to get docked to place, isn't he? He's not going to get a chance to take it, so that is disaster for Holgado. He did not need that whatsoever. Who was that sitting up there? I think they were just avoiding the slipstream, actually. I think it was Uriarte, maybe. But how about it then? Last lap in the Rookies Cup for this sensational race 1 in Austria. 1 out of 4 coming your way over the next couple of weeks. The sun's out, blessing us for this final lap. Who's going to get the jump into turn 3?
Yeah, turn 3, here we go. The first real passing manoeuvre, apart from turn 1. Holgado gets it out of shape. Daniel Munoz holds the lead, and Ortola keeps 2nd place. So relatively clean through there, actually. I thought we'd see a little bit more budging and barging, but...
He's on the grass! It's David Munoz. He gets pushed onto it by Alonso. That was cheeky, maybe not really appropriate, but we're into turn 4. He's moving up the inside of Ariarte. I thought Alonso was being quiet, but no, he's just picking them off one by one, corner by corner. He still wants that win. This is just nail-biting stuff. It's still Daniel Munoz out front, Ivan Ortula in 2nd, and Danny Holgado in 3rd. Few more corners to go, Elliot. This last final sweeping section, then the run to the line.
Alonso at the inside of Holgado. Remember, Holgado's got a long lap penalty, so he's going to have a penalty at the end of the race. But now Alonso is back on the podium. David Munoz is trying to overtake Holgado, and Ortola's trying to overtake Daniel Munoz for the lead into turn 9.
Oh my goodness, look at the lines they're taking. Turn 9, and it's Alonso into 2nd place. But it looks like, bar any daring moves, Daniel Munoz could be getting the win. Ortola doesn't want to give 2nd up. He doesn't. He moves up the inside. Keep it in track limits, chaps, but it's going to be Daniel Munoz taking win here in Austria. He is over the moon with that. Ortola 2nd and Alonso 3rd. Danny Holgado provisionally 4th, but that will have to change, which means David Munoz would take 5th place, I think. I mean, who knows? This is the Red Bull Rookies. It could all change now after this.
I didn't see anyone exceeding track limits on the last lap, so hopefully that's the end of the penalties after Holgado's. But
wow,
what a race.
Breathless.
Wow.
Daniel Munoz. Well, I tell you what, he's been through the mill, hasn't he? He's had a rough time of it lately, copping some abuse on social media for an accident which was not his fault at all, involving Mario Aggi back in Barcelona's Sev. So how about that? That's a way to say, well, I won't let it get to me. I'm going to carry on pursuing my dream and get victories here on the road to MotoGP. That must mean so much. It was really nice to see David Munoz, not related, congratulate him. What a sensational victory that was. Wow, that was really special indeed.
2 podiums in a row now for the number 7, Daniel Munoz, after finishing second in race 2 at the Saxon Ring. And there's the top 2 in the championship standings. David Munoz, and David Alonso. Great races from the pair of them. As we saw, David Alonso had to take a long lap penalty.
Well, what we're going to see here then, this was a replay of David Alonso pushing. Oh, so it was cheeky. I think there'll be words about that one.
Yeah, not sure how to call that. I think the riders are racing so close, and the natural line is to drift over to the left, and you can see
he is in front.
He is in front, so he probably hasn't seen where David Munoz is. So we'll definitely give David Alonso the benefit of the doubt there. But thankfully for David Munoz, he didn't feel too many effects of it, because that could have ended much worse. He stayed on track and he recovered to 5th place over the line. But with Holgado's penalty incoming, he should move up to 4th place.
Across the line they come. What a finish that was. My head's pounding, Elliot. Just like absolutely breathless once again. Sensational stuff. Daniel Munoz, well, when was the last time he got a victory? I'm going to have to go back through the stats and have a look. This was 2020. Daniel Munoz, this is his first victory, isn't it? Yes. When was the last podium that Daniel Munoz did get a podium last time out, of course, in the Saxon Ring? And apart from that, he's only had a podium back in Aragon last year and the Red Bull Ring last year as well, which you mentioned previously, Elliot. So a 4th podium, I should say. And finally, the victory for Daniel Munoz. That must be really special. Must feel superb. And Ivan Ortela, well then, 2nd place for him. He must be very chuffed. No change for Holgado yet, so I guess they're trying to work out what not taking the long lap penalty will mean for him exactly.
Yeah, that should come through soon enough. He didn't take the long lap penalty, so he will get, I think, around about a 3-second penalty. That's normally how much time the long lap penalty costs. Here or there, not exactly 3 seconds. It depends on the long lap penalty loop, but in general, it's around about 3 seconds. But David Alonso cracking a smile there. An excellent race from the pole sitter. Not the win he would have wanted, but after serving that long lap penalty, he gets congratulations from the Aspar team, who he races with in the Junior Moto3 World Championship.
To have had confirmation through of the top 3, definitely confirmed. Munoz of the Daniel variety from Ivan Ortela and David Alonso. So part firmly confirmed. That's great. We can hear from these guys and get their take on the race that unfolded there. Taio Furisato did in fact take the long lap penalty perfectly last time about, but how about this then? 3rd place man, David Alonso, what does he think of that one? He's down in Parc Ferme, just sipping up his leathers. Give us a debrief then. What does he make of it, Dominica?
Congratulations, David Alonso. How was the race for you?
Well, crazy race for me. I was from the pole position. I had a good piece, so I was on the 1st position pushing. I'm very happy of my piece. And then, well, a long lap, it's a pity, but, well, I do no problem. Then I catch them, but, well, the last 2 laps were difficult because the riders were aggressive, but, well, I could manage good on the group. And this podium is very positive, because also for the championship, it's also positive. And now, thanks to all the rookie staff, and well, this podium I dedicated to Hugo Millán, the one of the Fince result. and also I want to say hello to my grandfathers of Colombia because it's her birthday. And
Well, say it in Colombian then. Say it in Colombian.
yes.
Say it in Colombian.
No, pues ya yo de la rana os quiero mandar un saludo y muchos besos porque cumplís 50 años de casados.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for that then. David Alonso wishing happy birthday to his grandpa and also dedicating that podium to Hugo Milan, who sadly passed away following the European Talent Cup race back in Aragon. We'll very much have come across him in his time, having raced in the European Talent Cup previously. Would have raced alongside him, so nice words from young David. Now we can hear from Ivan Ortula. What does he make of that race?
Great job, Ivan. Well done. How was it for you?
The race was really good because yesterday in the qualifying practice I didn't do a good lap time, but I know that today I have a good pace for being the front of the group, and it was like that. Happy for this second position, and say thanks to Piula, my mechanic, Red Bull Rookies Cup, and all the people that work with me and is pushing with me along. Thank you.
Well done. Great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Ivan, for that as well. Great race from him. He was pretty unproblematic, pretty quiet, and that was a quality move into the final corner. He really nailed that from Alonso, took advantage of him running a little bit wide, sorted his line out, kept it within the track limits. That is how it's done. And learning that sort of racecraft is what Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup is all about. Onto the road to MotoGP. But what about your winner then? Daniel Munoz, first victory in Rookies Cup. He must be elated. What does he make of it, Dominica?
Danny, fantastic race. How happy are you at the moment?
The race is incredible, my first victory in Red Bull Rookie Cup. This race is for Hugo because he is a good friend and a good rider. And thank you for my team, Cardoso Racing, my mechanic Salva, and my family. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much then, Daniel Munoz, dedicating that victory also to Hugo Milan, close friend of his. So emotional stuff for him. Taking his first victory in Rookies Cup, and what a start to do it in. Just left absolutely no questions for anybody to ask of him in those final sectors. Really nailed his strategy there, didn't he? Sensational stuff. Can he back it up tomorrow? That is the question. And of course, we do have 3 more races here still, Elliot, don't we?
Yeah, 3 more races to go. 1 tomorrow, 1 next Saturday, and 1 next Sunday for the Austrian GP weekend. Yeah, Daniel Munoz, a great race. His first victory in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. Yeah, and perfect strategy. He got to the front, and to be fair, it didn't really look like relinquishing the lead, did he? Oh,
there we go then. Danny Holgado failed to comply with the long lap penalty, and he gets a 3-second penalty for that one. So has he been adjusted moving down on the standings? No, he's not. So we'll have to, not on our live timings, we'll have to wait for that when that comes on the screens after the podium. Or has he been moved down already? Nope, he hasn't. Not on mine anyways. Don't know about yours, Elliot.
No, I'm just working it out. I'm not very good at maths, but he'll finish in 9th place. 0.2 seconds, so he'll drop to 3.2 seconds off the lead. And Alex Mian finished 1.4 seconds off in 9th place.
Well then, let's get a look at these final results then. Daniel Munoz completes, well, first position, 26-minute race. Goodness me, felt much shorter than that. Time flies when you're having fun. Ivan Ortula, second place from Marcos Uriart. No, that's not correct. That's not correct. David Alonso was third. So forget that. David Alonso third, and then we have, I think, David Munoz in fourth. Time for Rosato, either way, 10th position after him, his 2 long lap penalties he had to serve there. Luca Lunetta, he was in that second group fighting with the likes of Noah Detweiler, Filippo Farioli, Mario Aggi, and Shoni Shimura, one of the first riders having to go through the long lap penalty, 15th position there. Scott Ogden with that ride through, comes through the last of the finishers. Cormac Buchanan pulled out of the race earlier on, came into pit lane retiring from it. Not quite sure what's happened there, but hopefully he's all okay. What has that done to the standings, though? That is the question. So let's see how these are adjusted. So according to this, we have David Alonso first position with 141 points, 11 points back, David Munoz. And then Danny Holgado in third position, 21 points back. Diogo Moreira maintains fourth. He's not here, sadly, due to a positive COVID test. Ivan Ortolo moves up a place into fifth, and Daniel Munoz moves up 2 places into 6th place as well. Tactical Brasserie stays in 10th there. Look good on him. Taifur Risato moves up a place as well, in 14th with that 10th place finish as well. So some pretty big moves in the championship, and with every race that passes, well, we get closer to deciding who is going to be first, second and third in the championship and thereafter. And of course, yes, as I mentioned, it really is crunch time in the series. We're going to get a look at the podium ceremonies now, with the riders coming out onto it. Can confirm it will be David Alonso coming out into third position, with Ivan Ortolo in second, Daniel Munoz for the first time in first place atop a rookie's podium at a Grand Prix event. That must be a very special feeling. There he is, David Alonso. That really, well, the only rider in the top 3 in the championship out onto the podium here today. Someone up above them is going wild for them. They're very, very happy with it. I can't go, this little group of them up there just going nuts right next to a microphone, so it's right in my ears. Wonderful. Daniel Munoz will be getting the trophy from HJC, partner of the Red Bull Rookies Cup. Tommy MotoGP Racing Services, there he is, presenting the third place trophy, and then the second place one to Ivan Ortolo. And of course, the gold one will be going to your race winner, Daniel Munoz. And the good thing about those trophies, Elliot, is they're not too big, so they might fit in the hand luggage rather than having to book yourself a whole new suitcase to get your luggage back to wherever you're going to. Time for the national anthem then. Well then, that must be an incredibly special feeling for Daniel Munoz. We are next racing tomorrow, August 8th, after all the other racing is finished. And the second race here at the Styrian Grand Prix for the rookies. 5 races left. Let's get a look at the highlights then. And it was a great start from David Alonso, one of your eventual podium finishers off from pole position. Marcus Uriarte just alongside him. Who got the jump though? It was Uriarte from Brasserie, who was a main feature in that race thereafter. But that was far from as dramatic as it got.
Yeah, it certainly was a little freight train formed with David Alonso, the Cup standings leader, leading the way for the most part, and there was the man second in the Cup standings, David Munoz, taking his long lap penalty. That dropped him to 13th with David Alonso running wide there, and that wouldn't be the last time he'd run wide.
No, absolutely not. That's why he was then dealt a long lap penalty, and then his turn for the chase to be on. He joined onto a group with David Munoz, dragged him all the way back to that group, along with Taifur Risato, as you can see there, failed to comply with the long lap penalty, and this was it. The gap they had to close down to bid for the podium once again. And after that, it was just chaos ensuing as normal in the Rookies Cup. How many abreast do you want into turn 9?
Sensational racing as always in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, and as always it came down to the last lap. I think that was the penultimate corner. Yes, it was. David Alonso moving up the inside of Ortolo, who returned the favour at the final corner, but no one caught Daniel Munoz.
What a first victory for young Munoz. Join us tomorrow for race 2 here in Styria.